People wondering why I never address Fulani issues when it comes to Nigeria. Well, because I only consider Nigerians like the major tribes, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. I honestly gonna get a lot of shit for this. I don't consider Fulanis Nigerian. They're nomads. Yeah, they're nomads who have temporarily settled in Nigeria. And if we get our shit together, they can go back to where they came from. I'm not trying to be a dick, but Fulanis have shown that it's a thing. Look this up. Any country in the world, in Africa, that has Fulanis, they're always like they never integrate. They never try to blend with anyone. I don't have any beef with them. I just don't consider them Nigerian. If you have a special group that refuses to integrate with the rest of the country at some point, and it's not just Nigeria. The same thing in Burkina Faso, same thing in Ghana, same thing in Mali, same thing in Niger. All the Fulanis in every country in West Africa refuse to amalgamate. They refuse to blend in. So that's the reason why I've never addressed Fulani, because honestly, deep down, I know it's going to sound shitty, I don't consider Fulanis Nigerian. One of my reasonings for this is marriages. You will find every version of Nigerians intermarrying with each other. The one group you will find that refuse to intermarry is Fulani. Fulanis almost exclusively are by themselves, and if they marry out, it's mostly Hausa. When have you ever seen Fulani and Yoruba? Fulani and Igbo? Fulani and Calabar? Fulanis do not integrate in any society they go into. So for me, if you're going to have that type of mentality, then you cannot be considered part of the people that you don't want to integrate with. That's just how I see things. So the other day I uploaded a video and I said Hausa and Fulani have to have a divorce, a public divorce, very public divorce, because we're not the same. And that intermingling or that association has cost us as Hausas. And someone who I met in New York who's Fulani sent me a DM. Yeah, I saw the talk about I hate you, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then in my comments, because that video is still doing the rounds on TikTok right now, and there's so many comments. Hausa and Fulani, we are one, we are twins, we are this, we are that. It's impossible to separate Hausa and Fulani, this, that. Okay. 99% of Fulani speak Hausa. 99% of Hausa do not speak Fulde. What type of a relationship is that, where 99% of Fulanis all speak Hausa, yet 99% of Hausas cannot speak Fulde? How are we one if 99% of y'all can speak my language, but 99% of us cannot speak yours? Just go ahead and ruminate on that alone. We are one. How we can't separate? Yeah, that's how we separate. Can you speak Fulde? No, go this way, you're Hausa. Can you speak Fulde? Yes, go this way, you're Fulani. Simple.
The Fulani problems in Nigeria. I was asked to provide some insight into understanding the Fulani problems in Nigeria. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. May Allah guide me to speak the truth. Fulani history is only tied to the spread of the Sahara Desert. Simple, very easy to understand. And the problems in Nigeria are easily understood with the historical perspective of Fula migrations from northern Africa. So the Fulani originate probably somewhere from Egypt or Levant in ancient times, when those areas were green and you could have cattle there. The earliest accounts we have of the Fulani are in ancient Byzantine Empire, where a Roman called the Berber tribe Barsafulitani, or Felata in Arabic, which is the Arabic name for the Fulani. So the Fulani were probably some kind of Berber tribe living in northern Africa. And then when the Umayyads came and invaded, the Fulani spread south from North Africa. Some say the Fulani are descendants of the Umayyads. My opinion is that the Fulani is probably a Berber tribe that mixed with Umayyad Arabs. So Arab-Berber mix. Over time, as the desert spread, the Fulani would settle in the savanna belt, meaning the green part of southern Sahara. As the Sahara spread, the Fulani moved more and more south. And this naturally creates a problem of territory with indigenous people who live in the more greener areas, the more jungly, forestly areas like the Igbos and Yorubas. There's fight over land, fight over the cattle eating farmland. Fula and Jolas have the same problem in Senegambia region. So this is not isolated to Nigeria. The Fulani as nomads have the same problem everywhere because the cows eat the green stuff. And the Fulani, having this Berber Arabic background, are very Muslim. 99% of Fulani are Muslim, and that can also create some religious tension in terms of jihads versus Yoruba animist spirituality, which we also have seen historically. For example, Usman Danfodio Sokoto in Nigeria versus the Hausa, who had a non-Islamic kingdom according to historical accounts.
Hausa youth, young Arewa, the future of Nigeria is in your hands, wallahi. The future of Nigeria as a country right now is in the hands of Arewa youth, not in the hands of Yoruba youth, not in the hands of Igbo youth, not in the hands of Middle Belt, not in the hands of the politicians. The future of Nigeria is in the hands of the northern youth, Arewa, Hausa. Do you know what I mean by that? Right now is the time that we have to come out collectively, young Arewa. We have to have a public divorce from Fulani. We have to have a public divorce from Fulani. We have to, let me explain something. You, young Arewa, who have lived in the north, kunga kwara, kunga yanda suke zama da ku, kunga yanda suke wulakanta mu, kunga yanda yan balarabe zai zo kasanmu ya wulakanta mu, kunga yanda cewa akwai abin da ake faɗa a Arewa, ake cewa balarabe kafin balarabe baka yarsa ka aura, ya gwamnata ya shafi kashin alade a jikin shi. For those that don't know, there's a saying in Nigeria. I didn't say it right, but basically it's saying an Arab man would rather use pig's blood and pig's shit as lotion than let a black man marry his daughter. And there's nobody that marries Arab people like Northerners. So we know this, to the point that it's a badge of honor for a Northern man to be able to marry an Arab woman. Because here's the thing, we know how much they don't like us. So this flex is to be so rich that she looks past your race and marries you for your wealth. It's a flex in the north. No one will admit it, I will. If no one will admit it, I will. My father's reasoning for marrying a Lebanese woman, his reasoning, because my father was incredibly pro-black growing up. If you know, one of the reasons I want a black baby is because I want to recreate my childhood with my father. The things my father did with us. In hindsight now as an adult, I realize this man was instilling and installing some, he made us, I have never for any day in my life, my hair, I got that hair that looks like ants when it's grown. You know, the typical African 4C, now like the real I have never a day in my life felt that my hair was bad and I never did the wave thing. My parents made me love myself, my hair. My dad really went out of his way to make us love each other. And then the reason he ended up marrying an Arab woman was because at the point of the height of his power, all the northern men had Arab wives, or at least Arab adjacent wives. What's his name? Abacha had his wife. All those men, Buba, all of those men, they had Arab adjacent wives. So my dad was like, in that inner circle of Abacha's he was the only one with a black wife. So I guess peer pressure, he divorced the Igbo woman and married the Lebanese woman. So the point I'm making here is, young Arewa, Hausa, Arab and Arab culture has nothing to do with us. We have seen it. There's videos going around on the internet. You remember the one from Bahrain where a pregnant Ethiopian woman was hanging on a window, crying, screaming, begging for help, and the Arab woman was recording her laughing. That's how they treat us. They call us Abid. We are the only people in this world that put Islam before race. We are Nigerian Muslims, African Muslims are the only people on this planet that put religion before race. Everybody else puts race before religion. And you know, before you go, Allah is the all-forgiving. Yawmatul Qiyamah, Allah will say, why did you put your race before your religion? You say, Ya Allah, I am sorry. You put me on this earth. And on this earth, as a black man, when I came onto the earth that you put me on, Ya Allah, my people had gone through 1,000+ years of what we went through. You saw how we went through. So we needed to get ourselves out of that, Ya Allah. We needed to unite behind our race. If I am wrong, forgive me. If I am not, it is what it is. But let me tell you, I am black before I am Muslim, any day of the week. That means in Nigeria right now, if I am in Nigeria and I see two people talking, blah, 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 and one no makes sense, the one that doesn't make sense is the Hausa Arewa Muslim, and he sees me, Ya Allahu Akbar, I'm knocking him the fuck out. If I see an Igbo man and a Hausa man arguing and the Hausa man doesn't make sense, and he's trying to use Islam as an excuse, I'm knocking him the fuck out. An Igbo Muslim, an Igbo Christian, a Yoruba Christian is closer to me. Efik, Ibibio, any Nigerian, a Nigerian that worships, that goes to shrine and worships ancestor is closer to me than any Arab will ever be. If we want to fix Nigeria, we have to divorce from the Arabs. We have to divorce from the Fulani. This is not, let me give you an example. Hausa and Fulani, the only thing we have in common is religion. We have nothing in common. We are genetically closer to Igbo than we are to the Fulani. We are genetically closer to Tiv people, to Skafanchan people from southern Kaduna than we are to Fulani. We are this makes no, we have to divorce these people. We have to show the rest of Nigeria that we stand with them. We have stood with Fulani for long. What has Fulani done for us? They are an elite group within our community. Fulani have found a way to lead. Fulani, hey God. They are our leaders, all our kings, even Yoruba land. Kwara State, now Fulani, they rule them, Yoruba. And if we keep quiet, the Fulanis, they will change their race and go and lead. They will change their religion and go and lead Igbo people if we let them. Hausawa, we have to divorce from Fulani. When I say we have nothing in common but religion, saying Hausa Fulani is the same thing as saying Igbo Ibibio. They have nothing in common but religion. At least Igbo Ibibio look alike. They have the same genetics. We don't have anything in common with Fulani. But yet we let these people come into our group. We let them decide we have to divorce Fulani. We have to. It's funny because recently met someone and she's Fulani and she actually cooked for me yesterday, gave me a whole week's worth of food. But she kept going, there's some good Fulani among us. So I mean, yeah. It's hard to say, but as a collective, and the weirdest part about this is majority of my friends in Nigeria are actually Fulani, but not Hausa. That is the weirdest part. Majority of my friends in Nigeria are Fulani. So I'm saying this now knowing I am going to lose friends, but we have to get rid of Fulani friends. We have to divorce. We don't have to get rid of them, but we have to divorce. When they say Hausa Fulani, cut that shit off. There's no Hausa Fulani. Fulani are Fulani. They speak full day. We are Hausa. We speak Hausa. Fulani's genetics is North Africa. Hausa's genetics is West Africa. We have nothing in common. So if we want Nigeria to move forward, right, the moment Igbo, Yoruba, and the other tribes see Hausa start divorcing Fulani, wallahi, wallahi, we will see progress in Nigeria. You guys remember I made a video today and I said something about how I met a Fulani lady who cooked for me and cooked for me for a whole week. Yeah, well, I just received a text message from her. She obviously saw my videos and I said that video is going to cost me a lot of friends, but let's go ahead and read it. So she sends the Facebook link of the video. She says, what the fuck? What is all the hate on Fulani? She's asking, what Fulani done to you? Damn. When he left, I don't know, I'm not even going to read it. I hate you. Had I known you were this tribalistic, I would have never pursued you. I thought you were different. So how do I even explain this? I knew this was going to happen, right? And the thing about it is, I realized I had to sacrifice my personal relationships for the sake of truth. So when people criticize my people, Hausas, When they say things that Hausas don't do, I chime in with facts because a lot of times it's propaganda based. So I come in with facts. When they say things that Hausas do, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. I don't do it. I know my people do it, and we really need to work on changing that. We need to work on their mindsets. And again, so we have another group of people who don't want to accept criticism in Nigeria. She's Nigerian Fulani. I guess after this, we're not talking anymore. That's okay. But what do you say to like the Fulani tribe in Nigeria? In every country you go to, it's the same thing. They are Fulanis, and Jews have that in common. Is they go into places and they refuse to intermingle with the people that the community they find themselves in. They will go anywhere and they will create their own community within that community. They refuse to intermarry because one can say, oh, Igbo people like to dominate wherever they go. That's a fact. But one thing Igbo people like to do again is spread their seed everywhere. Igbo will marry everything and everything. Igbo man don't care. Igbo woman don't care. They will marry you as long as you like them and you treat them good. Fulani is not letting their kids marry a non-Fulani. That is a fact. That kind of mentality is not conducive with the Nigeria that we're trying to grow. The Fulani mentality in Nigeria, if you notice in Nigeria, the people who are more aligned with their religion in Nigeria are Fulanis. That mentality cannot work in the Nigeria we're trying to create. That mentality works perfectly in the Nigeria that white people want us to have. Calling it out is not hatred. I'm sorry you hate me. It is what it is. But listen, I know I had to sacrifice my personal relationships for the truth. But the truth is, it has to. It has to change. A lot of things have to change. If Fulani are not willing to change, then we need to cut them out. It's that simple. You're either going to join us or you find your way. It's that simple. And if that means I am tribal, it is what it is. Every tribe in Nigeria have their issues. Hausa, again, when I'm criticizing my tribe, Hausa, nobody has an issue with it. When I make a video and I say Nigeria will never move forward because of Hausa, every blogs are posting me. Nobody has an issue with it. I'm sorry you feel this way. It is what it is. Thank you for the food. It was really amazing. I really had the chicken last night for dinner. But it is what it is. I'm not going to sacrifice the truth for my personal relationships. It's not going to happen. And I'm sorry, but it was nice meeting you. The thing we need to all start asking ourselves, each and every one of ourselves, and it takes a strong mind to do this, is, can I be criticized? And if you cannot be criticized, why can't you be criticized? What is it about you that cannot be criticized? What is it? Hausa Fulani are not one. We are not one. Me saying we need to separate and divorce is not hatred. We are not the same. Because every issue that everyone has in Nigeria is with the Fulani, but Hausas get dragged in because every time the conversation starts, Nigerians say Hausa Fulani. We are not Hausa Fulani. You're Fulani, we are Hausa. We don't say Efik Ibibio. We don't say Ibo Ijo. We don't say Yoruba Kanuri. Why is it Hausa Fulani? This makes no sense. I feel like there's this nefarious need to hide under the umbrella of Hausa-ness. If you believe you are who you are, stand tall on your own. But it is what it is. I'm not changing my mind. And please don't text me again if you're going to respond to this. Well, I hate you. It is what it is. But no one is above criticism. Absolutely nobody's above criticism. And if you feel you're above criticism, your tribe is above criticism, your race is above criticism, your religion is above criticism, I can't be around you. See, education is one of the most important things in this world that you can give anybody or your children, ever. That's why the people in power are making sure that the Nigeria's education system is as fucked up as possible. One of the things that I would absolutely thank my parents for is giving me access to some of the best education in this world. And unfortunately, it's your tax money that paid for it. But I was a very bad kid, first of all. Like, I went through 8 schools in 6 years. 8 schools in 6 years. A lot of them were expulsions. Anyone that knew me as a kid that sees me now would be like, yep, you grew up to be exactly who we thought you were going to be. But the reason I'm making this video is, if we understood, if we were awakened and we understood how geopolitics works, and we understand everything about the way this world works, we understand what Nigeria represents in Africa, what Nigeria represents to the rest of the world, the threat that would be Nigeria if Nigeria was a functioning society, then you would start to understand why the people we have in power were in power. You start to understand why people like Abacha were killed. You start to understand why Yaradua, you start to see some shit that makes sense. But let me explain this. So, everything in Nigeria is designed to fail. Nigeria as a country was designed to be a broken system. Because a successful Nigeria is a successful Africa. A successful Africa is a fucked up Europe. Look at France right now. So, basically, I was in Nigeria earlier this year in May, right? And I don't think I've ever been more frustrated in my life than I have. I've never seen a country like Nigeria before. I have never been like, every single thing about the system in Nigeria is designed to frustrate you. The reason for this is to ensure that there's no outside investment coming into Nigeria. Outside investment coming into Nigeria ensures quality of life for Nigeria. It ensures industrialization. For example, the governor of Georgia right now in America is in South Korea. This is his 3rd trip this month because he's trying to beg Hyundai to come back, because it's going to bring work and serious money to his state. Meanwhile, on the other hand, when Nigerians do these trips, it's to go to Dubai to go buy houses, to go shopping with their families and a bunch of shit. But let me explain. See, right now, the way the world works with global currency and everything, and the value of Nigerian currency, right now, Africa has right now the lowest earning class in the world. We have the lowest earning working class in the world. Do you understand what that means in a capitalist system? In a capitalist system, that means that every fucking company in this world that packed up and went to China because China was cheaper would be packing up to go to Nigeria because Nigeria is cheaper. Everyone would be moving to Africa, but what is the incentive right now to move to Africa? Well, for starters, not only do we not have steady power, the Nigerian government has gone to dismantle the power system, bringing it so much that the fucking the Aso Rock, the Nigerian fucking state house, is putting in solar panels. So that means anyone that's coming in to open up a factory in Nigeria has to account for bad energy sector, and has to account for generator, has to account for, at the end of the day, the cost of running that factory, the cost of running electricity is not worth it. So there's no reason to come. But see, that's the same thing that was done in China. Nigerian governors right now should be they should be taking weekly pilgrimages. They should be taking weekly pilgrimages to China, convincing these factories, yes, my people in Benin, we have the cheapest, blah, 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 blah. Katsina, look, we have the climate is the same as Guangzhou. We have this, tax-free, this. But what exactly about the system is available for these people to be able to work? A governor in Nigeria, was it Port Harcourt or I can't remember, they had this whole strip that they were doing. Do you know what that would have done? That would have turned the south in Nigeria to, like, we would have had our African South Beach. Do you know what that would have done for Dirty December? Everybody comes to Nigeria. They come Nigeria, Dirty December. Do you know how many would be flying to Port Harcourt? An entire strip, that Lagos, whatever express. Do you understand how much money that would have brought in? And then someone over here in the West ordered the governor, look, we'll give you $20 million to destroy that shit. We're the only people in this world that get a loan from the IMF that comes with no, what's the word I'm looking for? Oversight. Every fucking body in this on this planet, when they get a loan from the IMF, it comes with oversight. Africans don't come with oversight because they know the moment our leaders get that money, the first thing they're gonna do is take 50% of it and throw in their personal bank accounts. Now, 6-7 generations of Nigerians are responsible for that debt. Let the Nigerians, what are they doing? What are they doing? First of all, okay, I blame the system. A lot of people are not educated because they don't know about this. The ones that know about it, what are they doing? Oh, more, I can't wait to leave this country. I can't wait to. They want to run away. Do you understand? Do you understand why right now we have Boko Haram in the north? Go look this up. In Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, go look this up. We have the purest gold. The purest gold. Let me put it in a way you should understand. Igbo merchants should be running Katsina. Yes, it's Katsina gold, but we know how business works. You know, the one that pisses me off the most is when people say Nigeria should have never been a country. That is the dumbest, most ignorant shit I ever heard in my life. Basically, you're saying the white man realizes I'm so stupid and I cannot live in peace with my neighbor that he just made us one. Let me show you something. The main ethnic groups in Singapore are Chinese, Malay, and Indian. 3 completely different people. Do you want to see what Singapore looks like? This is Singapore. This is Singapore. This is Singapore. 3 different people of 3 different cultures, 3 completely different people got together with a collective mind and built this, one of the most successful economies in the world right now. And you're telling me 3 of the same people that speak 3 different languages cannot live in peace, and the white man figured that out. You're so fucking stupid. Oh, Nigeria should have never been. Your father should have been a fucking blowjob. Piece of shit. God, I hate that shit. But we have this. I don't. The answer is there. The answer is there. The thing about it is, I don't trust anyone. I don't trust a lot of Nigerians because people be like, why don't you come to? I can come to Nigeria right now and say, all right, let's do what the fuck we need to do to make Nigeria better. But the thing is, I genuinely, right now, the way I feel like 90% of those people in my circle are waiting to sell me out. They'll be waiting to sell me out so that they can have an opportunity to join the system so that now they can chop. Right now, it is October 31st. If I'm lying, may God punish me. If I come to Nigeria right now, all I have to do, you see this? Remove this, cut this. I swear to God, I swear on my mother's life, by January 1st, I have at least $2 million contract. I have that access. Why am I not doing it? Let me say this, man. If person can curse God, what I will curse God for is giving me empathy. The ability to see other people suffering and say, why? The inability to chop money and not feel bad. Why God? Because why do I say I'll curse God for it? Because the people that God has made me feel bad for apparently are not even worth feeling bad for. They don't even feel bad for themselves. If a man is not willing to help himself, if a man is not willing to fight for himself, you can never and you should never fight for him. What are you willing to do? Do you understand the significance and the value Nigeria holds in the international community? They know, Europeans know that a working Nigeria is a death sentence to the rest of the world. They know it. Everybody knows it, but the Nigerians.
My tribe, my people, unfortunately are not going to allow Nigeria to become what it's.
I totally agree with you. If Nigeria wants to be a well-developed nation and a better country, they need to cut out the northern part of Nigeria. Facts. Now, for context, I was born and brought up in the northern part of Nigeria, Kaduna to be precise. I'm well-traveled in Nigeria before I left the country. I've been privileged to travel to every state in Nigeria. And I can categorically tell you for free that the northern part of Nigeria is the least developed place in Nigeria. And the sad part is, a lot of people are going to hear what you say in the north, and they will not take it the right way, because the message you're trying to pass is something that will not only benefit the country, it will benefit the youth. But sadly, they have been indoctrinated, they have been brainwashed, using religion to brainwash their people. Now, I want to make this clear. This video is not to criticize Hausa, the tribe, and also it's not meant to criticize Islam, the religion, because I know a lot of people are going to completely misconstrue this or going to misinterpret this. The point I'm trying to make is the leaders, the northern leaders, including the government and the religious leaders, like the imam, the people on the top part. In my opinion, it's a deliberate move to keep their people in poverty and keep their people less informed. Because tell me why, till this day, an Hausa person is going to choose to enroll their kids in Islamic school instead of giving them a real education. In fact, they frown upon it to have their kids go get real education. Tell me why till this day they normalize Alamajiri. It's almost like a culture for kids to be hawking and begging on the streets. The northern part of Nigeria has the highest rate of beggars in that country. You see, now I know Nigeria itself has a lot of issue. We do have, I admit, we have a lot of issue, but we're talking about the northern part of Nigeria that is holding the country back because of their mindset and the way they do things there. As somebody that grew up there, it's frustrating to see that you will see a politician, a well-established politician or a rich, popular Hausa man. Every Friday he will be sharing sadaka. You will see almajiris from the head of, from the top of from the street to his house. He will be sharing sadaka. Instead of using that money or those things to establish a school, a factory, or something that is going to make these people self-sufficient, so that's going to create job opportunity. So I have come to the conclusion that this is a deliberate move to keep their people in poverty, to keep their people less informed, because we all know by the time you strip the people from education, they don't have a mind of their own, it's easy for you to control them. That is why you're going to get a tremendous resistance if you try to come talk about education, or if you try to come talk about development. They will push back so hard so that way they can keep their people in poverty. So shout out to you for sharing light on this. I know what it takes as an Hausa man, you know, to criticize your own people. And I know how the Hausa people think. I know how you're going to be looked on, especially with your look, you know. So I agree with you that Hausa, or the northern part of Nigeria, I'm not saying Hausa, the tribe, just to be clear, the northern part of Nigeria is holding the country back. I understand we do have a lot of issues, but we're talking about civilization and development. So in my opinion, I believe this is a deliberate move from the politicians, the religious leaders, to still keep their people in a dark place, so that way they don't have a mind of their own. Now, we are not even talking about, when you talk about politics, the highest positions in politics are held by Hausa people. Yet, there is more poverty in the north, where they are from. There's more almajiris where all these politicians are from. The biggest positions in politics in Nigeria are held by the Hausas. But where they are from, less civilization. So I agree with you, and shout out to you for speaking on something like this. And, you know, it is what it is. Very hard to take them or to change their mindset. I know how Hausa people think, you know.
Listen, this is a time of reflection and being honest. And this is a time where we really need to be honest with ourselves, right? And to my fellow young Arewa Hausas, I want you to know we played a very, very significant part in everything that's unfolding right now. And I'm talking about the good Hausas, apparently the ones that I know in every society there's crazy ones. I'm not talking about the radical ones. I'm talking about the regular normal people who somehow make up the majority but are always quiet. And this is what I mean. For the longest, when you look at Nigeria right now, you can tell that Hausa is the one that refuses to do the one Nigeria thing. We might say it all we want, but you can see the evidence is there. And I'll show you. You go on Nigerian TikTok, Nigerian Twitter, one group is always missing. Nigerian Facebook, one group is always missing. You'll find every group there. You'll find every tribe except Arewa. Where you want to see Hausa people, go on Arewa TikTok, go on Arewa Twitter, go on Arewa Facebook. We just have this thing where we, for some reason, don't want to engage with other Nigerians on social media online. We want to create our own echo chamber, and that's part of the problem. In your echo chambers, you've been complaining about bad governance. In your echo chambers, you've been complaining about insecurity. Every single thing that every Nigerian is complaining about, you've been complaining about it, but you've been doing it in an echo chamber, in another language where nobody speaks your language, nobody understands you. So how the fuck are they going to see you and think that that you don't support this when you're not actively being vocal out there? All you have to do, Arewa TikTok, all you have to do, Arewa Twitter, all you have to do, Arewa Facebook, Arewa Instagram, all you have to do is switch to English. Yes, I know it's taken away from who you are because you want to speak your native tongue online, but we live in a country where we're not the only ones with that native tongue. And if we need to get along with everyone, unless we have a single, that's what I've been saying, right? This is part of the reason. This is one of the reasons why. And people say, oh, sorry, I know sometimes I think about shit and I cut off my conversations, right? But what I'm trying to say here is, Nigerians will argue and say Nigeria was never meant to be a country, this, that. Other people, China was never meant to be a country. China was never meant to be a country, but look at them. You don't think they have many? Do you know how many languages they speak in that country? But they've boiled it down to two major languages, primarily one, Mandarin. Everybody speaks Mandarin. And then you have the Cantonese. Another big population speaks Cantonese, but it's basically Mandarin. You have people from Foshan, Fujian, different races. You put Chinese, you can go to China and put together 10 Chinese from 10 different places. You swear none of them, only like 3 or 4 are Chinese. Every last one of them is Chinese. But how can they make their country successful? You know what? The same way I said we've been needed. We need a benevolent dictator. They had theirs. His name was Mao Zedong. I said it. People have to die. They had theirs. Mao Zedong, a lot of people died. But look at China today. Look at China today. I've always said this. The one thing we need to do is unify over a global language, one united language in Africa. Even if we can't do Africa. See, Hausa is the second most spoken language in all of Africa. Swahili is number 1. That means if we didn't have the enmity and animosity that we had, I would say the Hausa is the most spoken language in West Africa. So we could unite on that banner of Hausa, but that would never happen in Nigeria. That would never happen because of the animosity we have. So because of that, why don't we pick Swahili? We can still retain our culture, our tribe, our language, but once we can all unite behind one language, once everybody understands everyone, and there's no loss being, conversations being lost in translation, it will be a different scenario. But in Arewa, what I'm trying to say is, dan Allah ku rinka fitowa, ku daina magana da Hausa, ku rinka yin videos ɗinku a Turanci. Ba wanda yake jin yaran mu. Idan muna magana a Hausa, za su ga cewa kamar muna gulma, kamar muna scheming. We need to let them know we're not scheming. We need to come out and be vocal. The same things you're doing in Hausa, just start doing it in English.
Of qofka Soomaaliga ah waa qof cadow sare ah dadkaas oo kaleetana magaaladayna nool dhex nool yihiin waan aragnaa anagoo dhan qaar waxaa jiro aan dhahno qofkan wuu iska hadlaa micno ma leh kanina adeerkay waaye bidiis waxa dhihin waxaa laga yaabaa ka fishaabyaalkeen waa taqaaniin dadkan ka hadlaayo Starbucks-ka la fadhiistinay masaajidka marmar inuu imaadaan laga yaabaa xafladaha isla tagtiin waa taqaaniin dadkan ka hadlaa inuu guriyaan la deganahay waa aragtiin dadkaas iska qabta meel ma gaareen anaga Soomaali hadii aan nahay inta dadkaas ay nagu dhex jiraan oo aanan dhehaynin qofkaanaytii hana dhaafo dadka aan difaacna annaga kuwa annaga rabo maalin ilaahay keeno thank you maalin ilaahay keena been naga abuuro maalin ilaahay keena video yaal af Soomaali aanan dhihin soo sheego waxba aan soo sheegnay oo meel hadhoodi aan ka galaysid male ileen maanta oo dhan ma taagnaan kartid ma dhihi kartid aniga hadalkan kuma hadlin because shaqaan noo taala anaga waa shaqaynoynaa idinka idin difaacoynaa waddankaana difaacoynaa sharciyo aan suubinoynaa maanta oo dhan kuma soo taagnaan karno videogaaneyti aniga hadalkan ma dhihin maanta oo dhan meel nala taagnaan karno taas idinka idin taala inaadan soo dhawaysanin dadkaas maalin ilaahay keeno ka shaqaynaya sida Soomaalida waddankan ku nool ay wax ku noqoneen.
She could have been talking about Nigeria. I swear to God, she's talking about the Somali community, and I'm watching that video like, is this woman talking about Nigeria? She could have been talking about Nigeria. Africa has the same problems. It's the people you're fighting for that want to see you dead, that want to see you in jail, that want to see you broken. It's the Nigerians that I'm here going hard for that want to see Nigeria broken. And like she said, there are people, every group has them. We cannot live in peace unless we get rid of those people. I said it. I've been saying this for a while. Black peoples will never, ever be anything until we establish a system of consequences. One of the ways that Rwanda managed to get past their tribalism was forced reconciliation. I saw the documentary where basically the president forced the Hutu and the Tutsi in public square for a while, almost years if I'm not mistaken. He forced them to sit down across from each other and confront each other. He's forced them to have that conversation. I remember seeing, it was a documentary or it was a clip, I can't remember. I remember seeing this old woman. She sat down in front of the man who killed her husband and her entire children. She was Hutu, he was Tutsi, or he was Tutsi, or he was Hutu, she was Tutsi, one of the two. They were both from the two different warring tribes. They made them sit down in public, in Market Square. There was a whole square for it. She sat down and she looked at this man and she asked him, why? And he broke down crying. She gave the story of how he came into her compound. She watched him pull the trigger and kill her husband. She watched him pull the trigger and kill all her children. I don't know if she managed to escape or he let her go. I can't remember. But she confronted him. She looked at him and she asked him, why? He broke down crying. And after, they became so close, like this. She forgave him. And they became so close. She started cooking, like she would cook for him. This man, excuse me, he would go out to work. He would come back. He worked. I think he was giving her half of his paycheck. She was telling him she doesn't want. He said, no, take it. Today, if you go to Rwanda, not even inside, outside Rwanda, you find a Rwandan or Rwandese, I don't know which one they like being called. I call him Rwandan. You find a Rwandan, you ask him, what tribe are you from? He's going to tell you Rwanda. Yes, I know you're Rwandan, but what tribe? I'm Rwandan. Yes, I know. What language do you speak? I speak Rwandan. Rwandans outside Rwanda will never, ever acknowledge the differences in their tribes. And for Nigeria to move forward, this has to happen. There needs to be reconciliation, because everything about Nigeria, about Biafra, is majority is a lie. Everything needs to be brought out in public. We need to sit down. We need to face each other. Because even if you get Biafra, your own country, that resentment will always be there until we do this. Until we do this, Biafrans will continue to hate the rest of Nigerians. If you get your country, you will continue to hate Nigerians and you will never live in peace. And see, the thing is, Biafra can only be a landlocked country, because you see, again, my maternal grandmother is Ikwere, so I know we are not Biafrans. My people they are not Biafra. You cannot force us to be part of Biafra. So you will be a landlocked country. I want us to unite. I want us to reconcile. Even if we're not going to unite as a nation, even if you're going to get your own country, we still need that reconciliation. It needs to happen. The first step to fixing a problem is acknowledging there's a problem. There's something called closure. If we don't do this, we will have eternal enmity for each other. The average Nigerian Christian identifies more with a white Christian than he does with a Nigerian Muslim, with a Hausa man. The average Nigerian Hausa man identifies more with an Arab Muslim than he does with his fellow Nigerian, with a fellow Igbo Christian. You know the funny part about this?
And there are certain people that you cannot be around.
Yep.
Right? If there's someone who is black in our church.
Nigerian Christians will watch that video and say, man, they'll brush it off. They'll brush it off. They don't care. Jesus, Holy Ghost, Israel, you see them with Israeli flags. Meanwhile, Nigerian Muslims.
These are videos sent in by sources at the Chad-Sudan border. This one, he says, shows an arms delivery passing through the Adre crossing into West Darfur. There are no visible weapons or any identifiable branding. And these are land cruisers passing through the same crossing that he's told are painted in RSF colors and turned into lethal technicals. All of this, he says, is supplied by the United Arab Emirates.
Those are the weapons that come in through Chad. And do you know how many Nigerian Muslims have been burnt alive while praying? Like, they will be called to prayer. The mosque will be full. Muslims will be in there praying. Bandits will come real quick. Boom. Lock it up. Light it on fire. Burn the entire mosque. You got 200, 300 people in there dying. But they will never come out and make noise. And because, no, I had a phone call 2 days ago. One of my friends, Sanusi Karofi, he's like my best friend in Nigeria. So I'm someone, I know, y'all know him because I've posted a picture of him before. And someone commented, Karofi. Sanusi Karofi is a smart man, but he's a typical Nigerian. He will never, like, here's why one of my accounts got banned on TikTok. I was doing a live. There was a lot of Somalis. And I said, if I'm walking and I see a fight, right? And I see a group of people fighting, I see a group of black people, and I see a group of Arab Muslims. And I know the Arab Muslims. We go to the same mosque together. I'm jumping in with the black people. I don't give a shit. I will join the black people because and when it's over, I will go home and I will pray. You know, one of the 99 names of Allah, it is the all forgiving. That means God is all forgiving. I will get on my knees and I'll say, God, you've created this earth. You know the circumstances we live in. You know racism. So you understand my reasoning for joining my people. You understand, you said stand up and I will help you. So you understand my reasoning for not joining the Arabs and joining the black Muslims, black Christians. You understand my reasoning. If I was wrong, forgive me. If I was not, thank God. I see it happening again, I do it again. And I ask for forgiveness. When I said that, the Somalis got my account banned. They mass reported me because I will never I am black first. Wallahi, I don't care what you say. This world, what I have seen, I am black first. Because one thing I learned, the only people who believe that are black people. Every Arab you meet is Arab first. Every white Christian you meet is white first. Every Asian Christian you meet is Asian first. Every Latino Christian you meet is Latino first. Every Polynesian Christian you meet is Polynesian first. All of them, they're always their race first before their religion. Every Arab Muslim you meet is Arab first. Every Muslim from every demographic you meet is their race first before their religion. The only people that prioritize their religion is black people. Meanwhile, they're over here calling us Abid. Look at pictures. We go to Hajj. You see, they keep us under bridges. We don't even have rooms. And then we'll come back. Salamu alaikum. Bitch, suck my dick. But Nigerians are useless. Their brains are fried. And what the work it will take to undo that, God, personally, I don't have the patience for it. So I just finished reading the National Security Report that is marked as the Kissinger Report. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. I just, casted my laptop to my TV. So let's go ahead and look at it, shall we? All right. I said, I just uploaded the Kissinger Report. I need you to go through it and summarize what it says about Nigeria. Number one, Nigeria is classified as one of the 13 highest priority countries for U.S. population control focus.
Nigeria's population growth is extremely rapid. Nigeria is singled out as a future regional power US must anticipate. Nigeria is treated as a potential source of instability if population growth isn't reduced. Nigeria is grouped among countries that may lack strong family planning interests, but where the US want to intervene anyway. The US plan push population control programs into Nigeria using UN aid agencies or other donors. Here's the summary in plain language. Number 1, Nigeria is treated in NSSM-200 as one of the very top countries the US wants to target for population reduction. A country whose rapid population growth is considered a risk to the US strategic interest. A future African power whose demographic expansion could shift regional influence. A site where US intends to push contraception programs and family planning and fertility production efforts either directly or through UN agencies, regardless of Nigeria's interest. A major contribution to global increase. So, what can we see? And then I ask, what year was it written? It says right here, it was written in December 10, 1974.
Everything that's going on right now was planned, and this is my issue. There are a group of people, there's an educated group of people who know this, who understand. They've read the Kissinger report. They know it, and they figured we're going to use this to our benefit because we have ulterior motives. Everything America's afraid of is what Nigeria could become. We're going to help America stop Nigeria from becoming that because we have our own ulterior motives. We have something going on in Nigeria that we're trying to do. And because we want it, damn be the rest. So basically, since 1974, the United States government realized that at some point, you see Nigeria's number now, there's over 200 and something million of us. They realized when we get to this point, we're going to become a global superpower if we have the right president in power. And they said they need to do everything to stop that. Population control. How many people do you think they're going to kill when they come to Nigeria to come save you Christians? But anyways, this is why I'm so angry, because a lot of people know this, but they don't care because they have their own ulterior motives.
About the Fulani herdsmen situation in Nigeria is that other countries in West Africa have Fulani people in them, and they're very normal. They're very normal people. Why do we get the weird ones? Why do we get to deserve Mali, Guinea, Senegal, Niger? Like they have considerable Fulani populations. Very normal people. Why do the ones in Nigeria want to kill everyone? I just don't understand. Where did the motivation come from? Like when you take away the whole murdering people for cows thing, like very interesting ethnic group, very interesting language, great cultural clothing. Minus the whole terrorism, minus the whole murder, minus the whole genocide thing that they're doing across the country. Interesting people.
I'm going to be talking funny because I had some teeth removed, but I think a lot of us are a bit susceptible to propaganda, and just some things that rubbed me the wrong way in that video, so let's get into it. I think some of the things mentioned in that video are some of the sentiments that are shared amongst Nigerians in general, right? The Fulani herdsmen are these terroristic people who want to kill everybody in Nigeria, and they're carrying out a genocide toward Christians, because that's who I think she was referring to, right? And blah, 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 blah. And I don't think it is as simple. For a little bit of a backstory, since 2009, tens of thousands of people in Nigeria have been killed by terrorists, right? And, a lot of this is attributed to Fulani terrorists specifically. And not all of the victims have been Christian, but a lot of them are. So people have been led to say, like, look, there is a genocide going on against Christians. These people are being targeted. It is at the hands of Fulani herdsmen, right? Notice how I didn't say herdsmen at the very beginning, because I don't know how much overlap there is between herdsmen and terrorists and vice versa. You get what I'm saying? That's just to give some background. More background, climate change and desertification has pushed the Sahara Desert into the north of Nigeria, negatively affecting the Fulani herdsmen whose cows graze on grass. So this makes moving down south even more attractive for them. However, the middle belt of Nigeria has seen technological advancements in agriculture that has made the area more attractive to live in. So this population in that area has increased. Previously, this was kind of a no man's land. So now you kind of get conflict over resources. Fulani are majority Muslim. This area is majority Christian. So you see conflict over resources in the area. Is it a religious conflict? Is it an ethnic conflict? It could, I don't know that it's as simple to just say, oh, it's this thing. It's this one thing, right? And I remember reading up on this some years ago, and I came to the conclusion that at least some of the conflicts must look like the following, right? Hey, I'm a Fulani herdsman and I want to go graze on some grass, and I see some grass over there, so I'm going to take my cows to graze on that grass. Hey, what are you doing? This is my land. You can't have your cows grazing on here, right? You can't, you got to leave. Well, I'm not leaving, buddy. My cows have to graze, and I can't go anywhere else. They need to graze here, so we're gonna graze. Well, I'm gonna kill your cow, and then somebody kills somebody's cow, for example, right? Oh, you kill my cow, I'm gonna kill you because now you're messing with my income, right? Oh, you killed this person who happens to be this person's cousin. Now back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, that was some years ago. So let me Google, right? Let me just Google Fulani herdsmen. Let's see what comes up. And I started looking, and I'm like, okay, I click on some links, right? Whatever. I see, oh, Fulani herdsmen murdered 33 Christians on Christmas Day. Killed 2 Christians. Nigerian believers killed. 6 Christians killed. But I noticed that these are all Christian sites. And that's not to say that they're false, but there's going to be a level of bias. I just want to see more objective coverage of what's going on here. I landed on this site, which is called The Pillar, right? And it's actually a Christian site, I believe, but the article seemed to be pretty unbiased to me. So let's take a look. Like I said, there were technological advancements in the Middle Belt, and I guess some areas that were previously understood to be like protected spaces by custom have now cut Fulani herdsmen off, right? So there's some tension that comes brewing out of this. Even though Fulani leaders have come out to condemn this, there have still been attacks, right? So like I said, somebody might say, hey, you're blocking my route. And then a farmer gets killed. And then there's retaliation. And then a herdsman gets killed, right? But this says Fulani retaliation has become increasingly brutal. So this might lead to them just burning a church or something. You get what I'm saying? Or like they go and destroy a village. But remember that there are groups like Boko Haram that operate in Nigeria. And groups like this, employ religious extremism for their own benefit. And then people might observe some commonalities between the Fulani herdsmen and these religious extremist groups. So like I said, the Fulani herdsmen might go pillage a village. Oh, well, Boko Haram also pillages a village. Boko Haram might exploit the resources of the village that they pillage. So might the Fulani herdsmen. But the United States Commission for International Religious Freedom says that, hey, these jihadist groups don't really enjoy much support in these Fulani majority areas. And this is Archbishop Ndagoso. And he says that, like, look, even in the Northwest, most of these farmers are Muslim. They get into it with the Fulanis too, for the same reasons, right? Farming, grazing, all of these things. So while people are being targeted, churches being targeted, probably Christians being targeted, right? I don't know how much of this is specifically from Fulani herdsmen because they're trying to target Christians, if you get what I'm saying. Again, there are Fulani terrorists, Boko Haram, whatever. I don't know how much overlap there is necessarily between these groups. But when you go and make statements like, oh, I know Fulani herdsmen want to kill everybody, or why do we get all the weird Fulani people? You have to be very careful with what you're saying. And it also tells me that you don't see them as an extension of you as a Nigerian. You look at them as this other group of people. That's dangerous. And I don't want to gloss over the fact, right? People are being targeted, churches are being targeted, Christians are dying. I get it, right? But I want us to be very careful with what we're saying. Right? I don't even know how many Fulani herdsmen, for example, are being pulled into this by people with ulterior motives who are fanning some flames of conflict. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know that it's as simple as we got all of the weird Fulani people in Nigeria and, they want to kill everybody and genocide everybody. I don't know that that's what's going on here.
They said nobody will stop them from moving from one place to another. Everywhere belongs to them.
Today I am with the Fulani herdsmen tribe.
They say Fulani are the ones killing the Christians. What do you have to say about it?
We don't have, and we want to pass. Even if you take legal action, nothing will happen.
Which people do you think are the ones that usually do this so that the world can see?
And remember, kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh yes they would.
Are the Fulani people black Arabs? This is a question I get a lot. The short answer is yes, Fulani are black Arabs, but the Fulani existed before the Islamic invasion of North Africa. The Arab identity of the Fulani people is a controversial question. Many Fulani people today may not want to associate themselves with an Arab identity because they would associate Arab with the people in the Middle East, and then the Fulani would say, no, we are not like those people in the Middle East, we are African. Well, I cannot lie to you. Old historical accounts say that the Fulani are black Arabs with Umayyad descent. The history is what it is. What I can do is to try to urge the Fulani community to understand that words like Arab can change meaning over time. The earliest account of the word Fulani comes from Julius Honorus, a Roman mapper who spotted a tribe known as Barsofulitani or Barsofulani in what was known as Mauritania or ancient Rome in North Africa. Palmer claims that there were Eastern Jews in the Maghrib during the time of the Roman Empire that were known as Barso-Fulitani. This account is consistent with Della Fosse and also Utman Danfodio. So the Fulani were a kind of Judaic people who migrated from Sinai to North Africa, practicing an older form of Judaism. When the Umayyads invaded North Africa, Uqba ibn Yasiru took a Fulani wife and they had children, and that is the Umayyad lineage of the Fulani. But the Fulani existed before the Islamic invasion. Now Arab 1400 years ago would mean nomad, and the Fulani are the largest nomadic tribe in the Sahara region. So yes, in that sense Fulani are Arab. Now Arab also means Arabic speaking, and Fulani are largely Arabic speaking. There are 500-year-old accounts of Fulani Arabic mixed script from Timbuktu. Arab can also mean you have a Quraysh lineage, and the Fulani have a Quraysh lineage through the invasion of North Africa by the Umayyads. So by all of these old definitions of the word Arab, Fulani are black Arabs. The modern definition of the word Arab is a different story. But I cannot lie to you about history. These are the oldest accounts that we have written in Arabic script of the Fulani or Felata origins. Why would Arabs be angry at me when Fulani are an Arabic tribe? People do not know what Arab means. Arab means desert nomad. Arab is one of those many tribes that are nomadic in the desert area. There are so many different Arabic tribes in Africa, Arabia. They have similar dressing, similar culture, similar tea drinking, camels, sheep. Some have cows. Arabic language is Quraysh. That is from the Quraysh Arabic tribe that Prophet descends of. I've studied more than 100 hadiths dealing with the word Arab. Prophet describes two kinds of people, Arab and non-Arab. Non-Arab are the town people. Arabs are the desert nomads, described sometimes as illiterate and a little bit ignorant. Some of those nomadic tribes are not educated, huh? Prophet described the town people as rich and literate. They believed only things when they were written and sealed. People claim to be Arab, but if you're not a nomad or descendant of nomads, you're not an Arab. Jamtang, you are right. There are two kinds of Fulani. The Islamized town Fulani, the Tals, Utman Danfodio, etc. The town Fulani may be descendants of Umayyad Arabs. Then there is the cattle herder Fulani or the Wudabe Mbororo. I belong to this type of Fula. We are very ancient. We are a simple people, not very rich, but we have traveled with our cattle from land to land to land. Some say from Palestine, some say from as far away as Iran, some say from Syria. And the paintings in North Africa, Algeria, Tazli in Alger, is the same cow ceremonies that we carry in our traditions. We are very ancient and indigenous people. The purpose of the very Fulani tribe seems to be to spread Islam in West Africa. Only reason why the Fulani would need to keep the blood lineage pure. Many Fulas don't want to be called Arabs because they associate Arab with racism and oppression. But the history is very clear. Fula scholars wrote in Ajami Arabic script in Timbuktu, advanced Tasawwuf for Islamic studies. Fula King Warjabi of the Kingdom of Tekrur converted it to Sharia in 1035. The Fula Kingdom of Tekrur was attacked by animist and voodoo people of West Africa who disagreed with Islam, so the Fulani took help from the Berber. All Fulani scholarship is in Arabic and it starts with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm sorry if people don't like the facts, but the evidence is very clear. Fulani are not a West African indigenous people. Fulani are not a black people. No, Fulani are a North African nomadic people that descend from Umayyad Arabs. Apparently, this is very controversial information. People get so hurt when they hear the truth. What can I say? This is what the historical documents show evidence of. From Al-Bakri to Danfodio, many historical documents have testified to Fulani origins from the Umayyad lineage. On the one hand, Arab doesn't mean today what it meant 1,000 years back. On the other hand, you cannot say that the Fulani tribe started with the Umayyad invasion. The Pular language must have come from somewhere. It's probably an ancient Palestinian language of the sea people that was never written down, who were known to be nomads and share culture, customs, and songs with the Fulani. A lot of people are jealous at the Fulani. When the truth is sensitive, you are surrounded by people who are lying to you. Are Fulani people Arab descendants? This is verified history. It is controversial in Africa because many people think that this is an Arab. Before people get emotional and loud over a misunderstanding, we have to understand what Arab means. When we talk about Fulani Umayyad Arab descent, this is the type of Arab we are talking about. Not this. This is not an Arab. This is Ottoman. These are Kurdish, Turkic, Albanian, Bosniak, European, Central Asian people. These are brothers and sisters in Islam, but they are not the people of the desert. The desert is 50 degrees during the summer. These are the people of the desert. When the Umayyad Arabs conquered North Africa and married an African queen known as Bajemongo, they produced the son Felat, and that's where the Fulani draw their name, the Felata. We are talking about this dark-skinned Arab marrying this dark-skinned Wudabe woman. It is this and this marrying, not this and this. Arab more Berber. Arab more Berber. This is not the Arab, and this is not a Moor, and this is not a Berber. And this is modern-day Fulani in Nigeria, descendant of Umayyad Arabs, dark-skinned, and the Berber Wudabe, dark-skinned. This is Mandinka. This is Fulani. Mandinka, Fulani. They don't look the same. Most Western people can differentiate these two. Mandinka and Fulani are not the same. They don't have the same language. Their languages sound completely different with different grammar. They don't look the same. Fulani are tall and very thin. Mandinka are quite strong because they are agriculturalists. They don't have the same profession. Fulani are nomads. Mandinka are farmers. They don't have the same history. Fulani come from the north with Islam. Mandinka come from Mali or Malinke, which is an ancient African kingdom that later became Islamic. Fulani and Mandinka don't have the same history with the transatlantic slave trade, nor the same history with the trans-Saharan slave trade. There are some Mandinka people, not all but some, who are very aggressively expansionist. They don't respect other people's boundaries. Please stop that behavior. We are in 2023, guys. It's time we stop bundling every African together as black. It's ignorant and disrespectful. No. African Americans don't have Fulani DNA. At least not from the pure blood nomadic Fulani. This is a common misconception and myth that is being spread in the diaspora, particularly African American. African Americans would study history and look at all the Islamic empires and attribute all of these to the Fulani tribe. Then they seek to claim these empires, so they try to create these narratives that Fulani were taken as slaves. And they would point to case studies like Sayyidina Umar ibn Said radiallahu anhu. They would make DNA tests and come up with Fulani DNA. But none of this is reality, and it's based on American anthropologists who don't understand how Fulani society works. There are two kinds of Fulani. The town Fulani, sometimes known as Tukulor or Turodbe, and the nomadic Fulani, known as Bororo or Wudabe. The nomads are the purebloods. The town Fulani are nomads who moved into the town and settled and intermarried with various different tribes. Pureblood mixed. Just like in Arab society, the pure Arabs are the nomads or the Bedouins, and the people in the town are descendants of the Bedouin nomads but mixed with many different people. That is why they can have lighter complexion. None of these Fulani, town Fulani or nomadic Fulani, existed in West Africa during the transatlantic slave trade. The town Fulani pushed Islam to West Africa later in the 18th century. For example, Fouta Djallon in Guinea. When Fouta Djallon in Guinea fell, it's possible that the French took some war captives as slaves, and that would have been the Omar ibn Said. But this is a very, very small amount. The nomads or the Bororo Fulani, they are far, far inland with their cows and camels. The nomads know nothing about white people or colonization. The very small amount of Fulani that may have been taken as war captives were town Fulani or Tukulor. If you go to Guinea today and make a DNA study and ask, who is a Fulani? Everyone who speaks Pular is going to say, I'm a Fulani. They can be mixed with many different tribes. It is not the pure blood. This type was never taken as slaves. Nomadic tribes such as the Fulani, Tuareg and others were not taken during the transatlantic slave trade. There is no evidence for that. If you look at the data points of the transatlantic slave trade, there is no logical argument that you can draw that somehow nomads were taken. Maybe in rare cases, but the exception is not the rule. The bulk of the slaves came from the slave coast, that is, Togo, Benin, Nigeria, Cameroon, Congo, Angola. Number one, nomads live inland, not in the coastal areas. Number two, the Portuguese and Spanish musketeers were in the coastal areas. That's where they have the military fort and slave dungeons. They couldn't go inland. They would be destroyed by warriors. So the colonizers simply didn't have access to the nomadic tribe. Even if they did, number three, the nomads would neither survive the journey of the Middle Passage, nor would they be useful in a plantation. They needed agriculturalist tribes in the quote-unquote New World. Number 4. Slave trade had already existed for 300 years before all the Fula kingdoms like Jalon, Masina, Sokoto came. Only one exception, Futa Toro. Number 5. The Fulani kingdoms fell during French imperialism late 19th century. That was the time of the abolishment of slavery. Number 6. Yes, it's possible that Futa Jalon, that was a little bit earlier, fought against the French and some war captives were taken. That would have been the Halpolar or the town Fulani. But these are exceptions. The same with the people from East Africa that were taken. That is not the bulk of the transatlantic slave trade. So Fulani's involvement in the transatlantic slave trade was this. Very, very small. Fulani people wanna be Arab. You're blackwashing history. Ha ha ha. You don't have a culture, so you have to steal our beautiful Arab culture. Sometimes I get haters who comment like this. It's obviously ignorance, gaslighting, and a kind of wishful thinking. Let me respond. I have never met a Fulani in my life who wants to be Arab. If by Arab you mean the people of the Middle East today, we are ancient people. This is a cave painting in Tazlin, Algeria, 8,000 years old. This is a Fulani nomad. It's the same cow type. 8,000 years ago, the people of the Middle East today didn't exist. Even 4,000, 3,000 years ago, during the time of Lower Egypt, the people of the Middle East didn't exist. The ancient people of the Middle East during those times were actually black nomads looking just like this man. If you don't believe, go to Saudi Arabia and see the cave paintings for yourself. Why would we want to be a younger people? Why would we want to be people who have come from the Caucasus and Asia and Europe to the Middle East and converted to Islam when we are more ancient? The Middle East is a historical melting pot, which means that all of their so-called culture comes from somewhere else. They drink our tea, they wear our face paintings, they wear our clothing, our turban, our face veil, our music, our drums they play. But because they are ignorant, they think that it comes from them. So you are taking our culture and then you are wishfully thinking that we want to become like you. But why would the grandfather want to become like the grandchildren? It's true that some diaspora Africans don't have pride. They like to humiliate themselves. But this is a colonial mentality. Don't confuse me or Fulani people for them. We are very, very proud.
Which religion did Hausa people practice before the arrival of Islam? Now, Hausa people are the largest ethnic group in Nigeria and the largest in Africa. They're predominantly found in West Africa and speak the Hausa language. Now, the Hausas, like many ethnic groups in West Africa, are mainly Muslim. But which religion did they practice before Islam? So traditionally, the Hausas practice a religion known as Bori or Mazagunchi. And within the Hausa religion, they revere spirits known as Isoki. Now, sacrifices are made to particular spirits, and there are a lot of spirits and deities in the Hausa religion. For example, you have the deity associated with agriculture, Uwargwana, also known as Uwardawa. You have a spirit associated with water known as Sarkin Rafi, who is characterized as a violent, irrational spirit. Sarkin Rafi is also associated with mental illness, affliction, and drought. You also have Uwayara, who basically causes a mother and the newborn child to pass away. You also have a double-gendered snake-like god called Gajimare, and Gajimare is said to inhabit wells and watery locations. It's also said to dwell in the storm clouds, hence its name. It's probably worth pointing out that the Bori faith is mainly practiced by a subgroup of the Hausa known as Magazuwa. For more content like this, make sure to follow Faster Speaks.
Nigeria is a really massive country, but people don't know how large it really is. Nigeria is located on the western coast of Africa with a landmass of 923,768 square kilometers. In fact, it is so big that countries like Ghana, Belgium, and Netherlands can all fit in it. However, Nigeria's most diverse feature is its people, with over 230 million Nigerians, making them the most populated country in Africa, ranking 6th in the world population. Nigeria has 36 states, with Lagos being the most populated with over 15 million residents, an estimate of 250 ethnic groups, and there are over 525 native languages spoken in Nigeria. Nigeria is a patchwork of distinctive regions, including deserts, plains, swamps, mountains, and steamy jungles. It has one of the largest river systems in the world, including the Niger Delta, the third largest delta on Earth. Many years ago,